Hello, and welcome to Life After Gray Narcissist Divorce. I'm Paula, and if you're a subscriber, welcome back. And if you're new and you like this video, please subscribe. So, does the Narcissist Hoover you and the new supply simultaneously? Does this ever happen? Yes, it does. And how do I know this? Because I experienced this twice on both sides. So my question to you is, have you ever experienced this? Or are you experiencing this now? Or are you hoping for a Hoover right now? If so, if you're hoping for a Hoover, what are you hoping to get out of it? Are you hoping that the narcissist will miraculously start loving you and respecting you and realize that they've made a terrible mistake? Or if you did get hoovered, what was the outcome? Was it a good outcome or a bad outcome? I know my second Hoover was a very, very bad outcome, but I guess I should say in a way it was a good outcome because it led to the full-on divorce. The first time I had a simultaneous Hoover, new supply, old supply, I was the new supply and his former wife was old supply, and I had no idea that he was still in contact with her. And so in a daily contact with her, we had a long distance relationship. And when we married, 2 days after his divorce, she was blindsided by this, and I was clueless to the whole thing. So that was my first experience. My second experience was being hoovered when he had a new supply, and anyway, that's embarrassing to even admit to, but it ultimately led me to divorce him because it was really, really horrendous. And I'll explain all the reasons later. So what can trigger the Hoover? For me, part of triggering the Hoover was, what can trigger the Hoover is, first of all, if you're no contact, it's hard for them to Hoover you. And I had been no contact for about 6 months, but then we became in contact again through my stepdaughter because he had my car and I had his car, and we had to exchange cars. So we met halfway in Dallas. He lived in Nevada and I lived in Florida. He came with his sister, and anyway, we met halfway, and that's how we came in contact. So there can't be a Hoover if there's no contact. So that can trigger a Hoover right there, is contact. And I realized for some people, you do not have a choice on contact if there are children involved. So that's one thing that can trigger a Hoover. Another thing that can trigger a Hoover, which isn't the case here, is if they still have the new supply, but if they're having problems with their supply. But the other reason that they do this is for them, it's just a huge, huge ego boost for them to have 2 supplies at once. Why have one supply when you can have two supplies. Remember, with narcissists, it's all about having supply. So why should they let you go if you're still pining for them when they can have this new supply and you are just still pining over them and wanting them? What kind of a giant ego boost is that for them? So if they can get away with that, of course they're gonna get away with that. A second reason is they can use this as a way to continue to abuse you and humiliate you and punish you for your wrongs. And this is sort of what my ex was doing. He was using this as a way to punish me and further abuse me by dangling me along, and he had this new supply going on also. And the third thing that this does when they do this is they've got their new little plaything, but they keep you dangling so that you don't go out and find somebody else. So this keeps you stuck. You're not moving on, which is exactly where they want you. Stuck. So they're keeping you where they want you, stuck. And the fourth thing they're getting out of this is they're getting possibly goodies from you, whether it be sex, money, whatever. They're getting more things out of you. So for them, this is a win-win situation for them. For you, this is a one-way ticket to heartbreak hell. So, I have not heard of a good outcome of being hoovered by a narcissist while they have a new supply. So if you've heard of a good outcome of this, I would be interested to hear your stories. If you have any stories of this, please leave your comments down below. I would love to hear from you, and thank you for stopping by.